Hi, I'm Eric Knowles, President of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, and this is our Member Connection. But before we get started, a word from one of our supporters.
We know there is nothing small about running a small business.
So,
Our
yeah,
dreams are
I'm
bigger
touching
than the
you
blocks we
about
represent. Our goals make way for generations to follow. And our imaginations outweigh all they said was impossible. Comcast Rise has provided $11 million in grants and services to 8,000 businesses in 590 cities. Because when one rises, we rise together. Apply for a chance to receive a $10,000 business grant from Comcast Rise and keep rising.
Hi, we're back. Yeah. Yeah, and I am super excited about our guest today. I know you're tired of me saying that. Well, hey, we got some great guests. We got some great members of our chamber doing some amazing things. And this person, I mean, she's just out there knocking it out of the park. And that's none other than Miss Gloria Fonseca. Hey, Gloria.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Eric.
How are you?
Busy, but I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Great, great. And Fonsis LLC, we're going to talk about that a little bit, but we're also celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes,
And
we
so
are celebrating.
And you're from Colombia?
I am from Colombia,
Yeah.
South America. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you've been here. How long you been in the U.S.?
We arrived on 2000.
2000. Okay, so 22 years.
22 years here in
Yeah.
the United States.
And
Yeah.
you are just doing your thing. It's interesting. I say Miami. Well, Miami. Everybody wants to be in Miami.
That's true. That's very true.
But obviously, we talk about individuals like yourself who have, lived in a different country, born. That's where you're from. But coming to America. Coming to the U.S. is the land of opportunity, and you have fully taken advantage of that opportunity.
Well, I think the introduction is important because when you arrive to one land where you don't know anything, not
Right.
the language, not the custom, not the system, anything is double challenging. But we as a women are always developed to to remove those barriers. And all my life I was working in the social field. My profession is an economist, but I have an opportunity in 2017 to incorporate this, company called Fonsis LLC.
Right.
Nothing has been more great. It's important for me to express how I had been learning and how through the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, my company had been able to develop in another scale.
Right. I know you have been so engaged with the chamber when you became a member. I know you're on various committees. You're on International Trade Committee. You're with the Women's Business Council, the Construction Committee, the Advocacy Committee. I don't know if anybody in the chamber is involved as much as you in terms of getting engaged. And a lot of people they join chambers and really don't understand what that means. And the one thing I know, you have been an advocate and you talk about what the chamber has done for you, but it's because you are engaged. So talk
Absolutely.
about that a little bit.
It's like the gym. So I don't sign up for a gym, membership if I don't going to do exercise every day. So I found out that through the chamber meetings, there were a lot of resources. And I felt very welcome, especially from you and from the, administrative staff. It was since day one, this connection. And I am, a fighter for inclusion and diversity. And I am Hispanic. We all are members. It's not this type or this group. No, we are just fighting for everyone's. And our main objective is Black business owners and women-owned businesses.
Right.
And that's what we have been doing it. I felt that being part of the committees, you learn resources, you network with people that is, looking for the next step. Because
Right.
at the end, your company grows based on the people that you are around with. So I had been able to really, share with great companies that are the members of the chamber, and those companies had told me how I can think big, so I can, look for big contracts, and that's exactly what I have done. And I had been, very, very good on studying, on attending, on be part of, and give my resources, but I also request for support, and it's a double, biased way.
Right, absolutely. To your point, it's two-way. It goes both ways. When you put in, you get back. And as you said, we advocate each and every day. As I said, before we came on, I was talking about the meeting today at the University of Miami, and Beatrice, obviously, Lewis, that you also are engaged with, and there were others there. And so it's about the connectivity. So tell the folks, Fonsis LLC, what is Fonsis LLC?
I am very proud, Fonsis LLC. I'm very proud of my company. We start doing like a remodeling work, but with the time that I was able to belong to different, cohorts with entrepreneurs, I was able to learn that specializing in something is important. And that's exactly what we have done. Now that we learn and we were able to analyze what trades are we more efficient in. So we decide to go to those trades, and we are now providing specifically painting, commercial painting, also vinyl flooring installation. And during the pandemic, we developed this new opportunity that was high-rise window cleaning. So my company had been able to offer commercial services for the county. We already have two contracts with the county, and also with luxury buildings. I had knocked many doors, and I had been able to do big contracts and provide employment for undeserved communities, and that's what I love. In reality, what I love is to give back.
Yeah. Now you mentioned, I didn't realize you were doing window cleaning in high rises.
Yes.
Yeah. When did you start that one?
That was at the end of the 2020.
Okay. Okay. Because
Yes.
obviously I know you are a major paint contractor.
Yes.
And also, you didn't mention you're doing flooring now as well?
Yeah, we have done, because we own other licenses, and then carpentry is one of the licenses that we own. So in carpentry, we do vinyl flooring, and has been a really good, trade that allowed us to get, the profit that we need in order to generate employment.
Right. Now, I know I had the pleasure of meeting you at one of the properties, one of the high rises downtown. It just makes me so proud to be able to walk into a building, and you're showing me all the floors, and this was a building, what, 30-something floor?
40
Excuse
floors.
me.
40 floor, we paint, and that in numbers is 112,000 square feet.
112,000 square feet
Yeah,
of painting.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
a lot of paint.
It's a lot, and we did it on time. We received a beautiful reference letter from the Homeowner Association stating the, the structure of our company, the education of our staff, the communication with the, managers, et cetera, et cetera. We coordinate, perfectly, thank God. All the movements ins and out, so there were no even one issue.
Right. Now, I know we became really close during the pandemic, because you came on to our, which we were Zooming each and every day, providing information for membership, and not just members, anyone in our community that was in business. We were providing information on how to access PPP and EIDL. And so through that portal, we built a relationship. But one of the challenges that we've come to coming out of PPP, the supply chain. So how has that affected not only the supply chain, but also employees? Because I know also, because of the pandemic, a lot of people were receiving benefits and funding, and a lot of people weren't going back to work or didn't want to go to work. So let's talk about the supply chain first. How has that affected you?
Okay. Yes, it affects us. Actually, in one of the biggest contracts, we have this noted, the brand, company that was providing the paint, they didn't have any more stock. So we had to figure it out what we're gonna do. We had the ability to meet, with the owners, and they understood. Of course, there was nothing that we can control or they can control. So we were able to offer an alternative, and we were able to come out with a good outstanding. What I'm doing now is preparing myself. Actually, today I was meeting with one of the biggest, providers or supplies at PPG, and because I have some resources, I am now creating this stock of materials, because I know the pandemic passed.
Right.
And but we are going to really receive the consequences now and in the future.
Correct.
So we don't know what is coming, and we had to be prepared. And also we are, with other facts like the hurricanes that we have here. So
Right.
there are many things that might happen. So one of the reasons why I was meeting today is because I want to have a stock and many of the material that I use, because I don't know what's coming, and that's one of the methods that I'm using in order to prevent to be affected for the supply
Right.
chain.
And then I know in painting, obviously, we were talking about the protective mask. You have to use a lot of those, in particular if you're spraying and depending on what you're doing.
Yes.
So, yes,
Yes.
being ahead of that is very important.
Definitely.
So I mentioned employees and the challenges that we're having with hiring folks. And, a lot of people, some people may think that, painting doesn't take a skill, but it is very much a skill. And training individuals, and besides just training individuals, the actual job of executing the project, being on time, coming to work. Talk about the people skills that you have to deal with your employees.
Well, I think that I work the system and vice versa, because one of the things, I have extensive background on mental health and
Okay.
social work.
Okay.
And I do think, I am convinced that if you care for your people, if you invest in your people, if you have the opportunity to deal with the human being, and then you discover what needs that human being has, and in some way you are able to be a supporter. My social, skills and to support the community, I do apply it everywhere where I go. So, and I do it more for my people.
Right.
So one of the things that I have really developed is this sense of care for my employees. During the pandemic, there were days that we didn't have, projects.
Right.
So I had to become creative, and because I had the PPP, I had to, utilize for them. So I say, okay, we need to, and I start calling people who needs, to paint, their store, or you guys are not attending there, you guys are not going to the office. I can paint it. You can pay later.
Right.
But I need to have my people working.
Right.
And I have, the money to pay the salaries. And that was one of the things that I did. The other thing is I've been training them.
Okay.
And training, and that's why I meet with these companies, the one that are suppliers for us, because people that the fields that they know, that they have, every time that I have my people in a training, I got a certificate. That's important for people.
Right.
And you mentioned it before. Everybody think that everybody can paint, and that's not true. That's not true. And professionals are based on, you master when you repeat, and every day that you repeat, doing certain activity, you become a master. But you had to add some technique.
Right.
You had to adapt, new technology, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something that I have been, taking care of. I am very resourceful, and during the lack of the labor, I, reach out to some community programs like a job course. They have people that they train, and nobody give them opportunity because they don't have experience. And say, I
Right.
want them.
Okay.
I reach out to the shelters. I used to work with shelters, survivors of domestic violence for so many years. And I know that one of the major barriers that a woman has in order to come out of domestic violence cycle is the job, the
Right.
income. So I say, I want the women that want to work. I am willing to train them. And that was another opportunity. And I had the best two employees that I have now came out from the shelter.
Wow. That, so besides just being the owner of Fonsis LLC, you're also a social worker.
All the time. Nothing is because me, everything is because God. I didn't know anything of construction, anything. And in 4 years, God had been really faithful. And every door that I know, He's the one that opens. And
Right.
I just want to be, my desire is to be diligent. My desire is to, if I follow and I sign for anything, I want to follow through. I want to be an example. So my people, when we go to a house, to a building, I always tell them, so Fonsis LLC had this reputation. We were detailed, we were clean, we are on time, and we are reliable. Okay. And integrity is what you do. Everything that you do it no matter who is looking at you.
Right.
You are the same one with your supervisor or without your supervisor. Everything that you do it not for Fonsis, do it for God. And when you do that, everything works.
Right. So we have a little bit of time left. With that, what would you say has been your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge, I think, get contracts with the government. Now I am in the process to jump to the federal contracts. It's huge barriers to get into the GSC schedule, huge. Even though there are many organizations that offer entrepreneurship, mentoring, there is no one specifically that you can say, with them, they can guide me exactly to get to the GSC schedule. That is where you can get federal contract. Now, I was selected from the SBA, Small Business Administration. They have a new program. The program name is Thrive. That program selects 25 firms, between 500, many more. And we were one of those. So I'm working additional, like attending school, because there is a lot of modules that I had to complete.
Right.
And I believe that can be the step that I need to get to the federal contracts.
Okay, great. I was going to ask you about federal. So, running out of time. So if someone wants to get in touch with you?
Fonsis LLC, www.fonsis.com. We have a website, that's the website. We have a Facebook, it's Fonsis.com. And the Instagram is Fonsis LLC. Our phone number is 786-420-4100. And our office is in Opaloka. We are now with a certification, a HAT certification. That is where we are in a zone where we want to develop more employment for undeserved communities. We are in Miami Gardens.
Well, this has been an amazing another interview with one of our amazing members, and I just want to thank you, Gloria. But if you want to get in touch with the Chamber, go to www.m-dcc or call the Chamber at 305-751-8648. This has been the Member Connection. Today, I stand before you, a proud graduate of Miami-Dade College and the 5th president of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. I'm honored to return to the college that prepared me to become a leader in our community, providing an education second to none. So I'm asking you to please tune in every Monday at 12 noon to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce's Member Connection as I interview members of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce on our Facebook page at Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce or our YouTube channel, Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. To learn more about the Chamber, please go to m-dcc.org or call the Chamber at 305-751-8648.